This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Jamel Herring. He's back for a second time. Jamel, how's it going?
Everything's good, bro. I can't complain, man. I'm just happy to see another day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, you recently came out of retirement. So, I guess tell me how this all came about. When you first retired, did you think you were going to come back? Did you not think you were going to come back?
No, I didn't think I was gonna come back at first. I was just gonna be fine, just commentating and management. But it was more the commentating side that brought me back, because when you're sitting up close watching every big fight, whatever, you get that itch.
Yeah. So then, all right. So, give me a couple months. When did this all start? When did you start training? And then,
I always stayed in the gym, because I would still go to the gym to check up on like the kids and see how everyone's doing in the local area. But so I think, but it wasn't prior until like maybe like this past spring that I started like really, getting serious about everything.
yeah, and then just going into it, what were your expectations? And even just I know you always make weight easy because I see you doing it, but what was that like just going through the whole training camp again?
It was actually a little rough the first week and a half or so. You know what I mean? Because getting back, because I haven't been in a camp environment in like 18 months up to that point or so, close to 2 years of me. So it was rough. It was definitely rough. It was definitely rough. It definitely it made me question myself at times too. Like I didn't know if my body can go through it. But after I realized again, I trained in Las Vegas, and it was at high elevation again. So I had to adjust to that, and then I had to get with the new chemistry in my trainer, Wayne McCullough. So we had to get through that as well. But once like those 2 weeks went by, everything just started flowing, and it just became second nature again.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you came back. You got the first round TKO. Did you think you were gonna get that, or did it just come?
No, actually Wayne was actually calling for he actually was predicting the whole entire camp, honestly, a second round, which which is still funny, because again, like for me, I thought like the first round was gonna be more of like a fill out round, so I can get the ring rust off, because it's been a while since I fought Jermaine. But I mean, it just, like I said, you see, it came quick and was sharp.
Yeah, yeah. What did it mean to you to fight in New York and be the main event?
It was good to fight at home. Shout out to Lou DeBella. Lou's always been a good friend throughout the years. So Lou definitely Lou was definitely trying to make the most of the return, and especially do it in a special event. So I was happy.
Yeah, yeah. Overall, it was cool. I was there. I like the setup too, even though it was a small venue, it was cool
Right.
to be at the top, and it's like a different view than a arena.
Yeah. It was definitely on like an old club shoot or club show type vibe feeling that Lou had did. But it was definitely good. It was a good night. Like I said, you yourself and everyone else out there, was just showing love. So I was happy. I was happy with the turnout.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, and then this past weekend, Lamont Roach, who you already beat before, won the world title, the WBA at 130. So is that someone you would want to have a rematch with?
Yeah. First, congrats to Lamont Roach and his team. I know. Like, again, it's been 4 years since his last title shot, which is against me, till recently. So shout out to Lamont. But of course, I know he's mentioned it before, on another podcast about potentially running it back, since I'm the only one to beat him, whatever. But again, right now it's his moment, and of course he's going to look at look at the other champions, which I respect. But again, there's at least a storyline behind that. Behind, if we do run it back and fight again, there is a storyline behind it. But yeah, I definitely would like to fight Lamont if that fight presents itself in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anyone else? What are you looking to do next? Are you trying to get a title fight right away, or are you trying to get another fight?
I'm just trying to get a big fight in general. You know what I mean? The Nick Molina fight again, it ended too short. I mean, I'm like I said again, I can't complain. I mean, we don't get paid overtime as fighters, but like they again, that fight was mainly meant in my in my mindset, just to get the ring rust off, and I really obviously didn't have to do much, but again, I think moving forward, I would like to fight guys like I said again, like Joe Guardino, who's another world champion overseas. Um, I've been vouching to to get guys like Josh Warrington and Lee Wood, if even fighting those guys over there in their own backyards. Because again, it's big fights. I know those two individuals that are moving up to the junior lightweight division where I'm at and campaigning at. So I mean, why not? But then again, there's also big fights on this side of the this side of the hemisphere as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I gotta ask you, I know you're big on Twitter, so I know you're well, it's called X now, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I still call it.
Would you ever fight some type of influencer?
Nah, I think I will only fight an influencer, and then if I'm being honest, if I'm completely done with my own career, you know what I mean. I'm just want to do exhibitions and stuff like that, like you see with Floyd today. But I mean, I don't really look into it because I don't really have any interest.
These guys are calling out real boxers now.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not knocking it. I mean, that's on that. I mean, that's what they want to do. They could do what they want to do, but it's a different animal when you get in there with, like you said, with real boxers. So that's what they want to do, and they want to, what I'm saying, and both sides are making millions. I'm not against it. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not going to knock it. It's good for media attention. It's good for like again them being influencers, but their platforms is good for their platform. So I'm not knocking it, but again, I just never gave it any thought of myself. Because for the most part, you see guys like on the superstar level, even in terms like in a boxing realm, that usually they get their names called up for saying these type of fights for influencers.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like a weird thing because obviously I respect the guys that get in, even if they're influencers, or whatever. Because still you're still going to take punches and stuff. But it's like
Right.
at the end of the day, like I work with some too, and it's like at the end of the day, like I know there's levels too. So like put on your analytics hat and tell me like can you just I know you've seen some of the stuff on Twitter. Like can you just tell me like what the differences are?
In terms of what?
Just like you see the influencers boxing versus like a pro boxer.
I mean, I think for the most part, I will give credit to influencers because they bring their audience and their crowd, and their crowds now get familiar with certain fighters out there. You know what I mean? Which also can probably bring in more casual fan base to the particular fighters that are being called out by influencers. Because honestly, like I said, what hurts with boxing, professional boxing at times, is that you may see hardcore fight fans. They may see their favorite fighter throughout the year once or twice a year, but in terms of influencers, they're out there in the public eye all year around. You know what I mean? So they definitely bring in a great deal of an audience. As I said, regardless of people saying about how much the pay per view costs with Tommy Fury's last fight in KSI, it did good numbers because those guys brung the fan base bought that, the casual fans bought that, and at times we as professional boxers sometimes we knock the casual fan base at times sometimes we may need it. Well, we do need the casual fans to tune in every now and then because they still bring their wallets, and then so they still bring in money, so why not? So again, influencers definitely bring in a different audience, but they come and they pay to see the event.
Yeah, even like you started your career till now, like how much has that changed? Even just like social media wise, because like probably at the beginning it wasn't even like that crazy, and now it's
Oh,
like
it's crazy. I want to say the old guy in the game, but it's like when I started, like you gotta think about just look at today's with streaming for example. Back in at the 2012 Olympic Games, you were lucky to be on a big card, let alone trying to get it somebody having being showcased, whatever, and getting TV time. But now it's like now you see with streaming, you'll see the very first fight of the night, say now getting exposure with like the Zone and ESPN Plus platforms and so on. So you get to now today's world you get to basically a certain individual or fighter that you want to follow from his first fight all the way up to the stages that he makes his first chance at a world title. Back then it was more more word of mouth. I mean, yeah, you had the media, of course, you had the outlets, like boxing scene, Ring magazine, but she wasn't being seen like that. It was mainly like you still had to read about it, or you had to maybe hopefully have somebody record your fights, and you know what I'm saying, and put them out there for the like streamers, like platforms like YouTube or Facebook. But now it was like you get to tune in. Oh, such and such is fighting. He's making his pro debut. Oh, you get to see it today on the Zone, or Pro Box. They got the Pro Box doing a thing with YouTube and so on. So it seems like with today's boxing world, I would say there's a lot more attention now on the prospects of the game as well as the contenders and world champions.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's almost rare, at least in the U.S., to not have any sort of stream, like even if it's on Facebook Live. Like,
Right, exactly. Now it's rare. Like even from the smallest club cards with the smallest promoters, they'll find some way to stream it and get it out there to Fight TV or whatever they want to use, and so or like I said, a website link. But like again, just streaming is pretty much everywhere, and I like it because like I said again, I spend times I've been at concerts, but I'm sitting at my phone. I'm like, and make sure I don't want to miss this particular fight before the main event starts later on tonight.
yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into the business side of Jamel Herring. So, tell me
Right.
about like how I know you started commentating, but like tell me about how it became, I don't know, like a full on gig.
Yeah, you know what it was? I think it was like back in like 2016. I started seeing like when I was with PBC, I started seeing they was doing allowing fighters to commentate. Like Caleb Plant and others. One week, this one would change, would commentate. And so I was just like, man, I really want to give that a go. So I've been like picking at it and like trying to get into it. But at the time, I wasn't picked during my time at PBC. But I seen at the time my trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre, he was doing commentating with Christina Pancha for ESPN Plus or whatever at the time, and I was like, man, I wanted to give that a try, and he kind of helped me get my foot in the door to give commentating, commentating a go. And from there, I just picked. I mean, for me, I love it. It seems natural for me to do. It's not an easy job, but again, when you have the right partner and the chemistry, it just makes a lot. It makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. And didn't you go you went overseas somewhere recently, right? Or no?
I'm
Or
trying
was
to
it
think.
or did you guys do it remote?
Oh no, I did remote. Most remote. When we do Japanese cars, they're usually remote. Like I'm doing next month from a Japanese car around Christmas time, and that's gonna be I'll be in Vegas from the studio.
How is that like versus
That's
being
actually hard, man. That's actually hard because you have no crowd, no atmosphere to keep you, and you got to and think about it. You got to look at the time difference. Like we'll be up to like 5 in the morning, while on the West Coast time, and it's like we've been in there since like 11 p.m. So you got to keep that energy up from the first fight to the last fight, and you got to act as if you're in a live event.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I'd be
That's
drinking
the tough
like
part,
five Red
man.
Bulls.
That's the tough part. Man, we coffee, everything. I'm not even a big coffee drinker, but you'll see me with a cup for those fights, man. But I mean, it helps me get the experience. Like I said, I take those cards and to do them because I want to continue getting the experience and bettering my own craft as a commentator.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's crazy? I just thought about it. I had you on the podcast like a long time ago when I first started it, but I also did like the when it was COVID, like the IG lives. But so technically on this podcast, I never got to ask you afterwards, like, so what did it feel like to become a world champion?
Oh man, I mean, that's the greatest feeling in the world. Greatest feeling in the world. But it's crazy. Like it was cool the first week, I would say. But then when you start looking back, you like when you start getting back to business, it's like I'm a world champion, but I'm not number one in my division. I'm not considered the best in my division. So there's always something for me to continue working and climbing for. Like that's why I was going so hard trying to get a unification matchup. And now, the goal is to be, a two-time world champion. But again, after that, it's still going to be wanting to be the number one guy in the division. You know what I mean, or the best of the best. So for me, again, it's a great feather in the cap, of course, because everyone can be a world champion. But at the same time, when you do get there, it's like, okay, what's next? What can I do to continue bettering myself?
Yeah, I don't think I ever told you this too. So I remember watching the fight. I was watching it by myself. I never watched the fights with anyone. I watched them by myself. So I was watching it by
Right.
my. I was watching it by myself, and like mid fight, this is the title fight. Mid fight, my boy texts me. He's like, "Yo, I put 500 on Jamel." I was like, "Bro, why do you gotta tell? Like, I don't want to know that stuff." So then he was all pumped. He's like, "Yo, that was like one of his biggest wins ever betting wise."
Good. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. But yeah, man, it was a good, like I said, because the story behind it was just a good story. Oh, he's a Marine. Well, oh, he's a Marine fighting for world title. But that was it. It was nothing. There was nothing planned for me after that. It was nothing like, well, what does he do now with that world title? It was just like, oh, well, at least he got the shot, and that was it. But I just want, I like again, I rewrite my own story. So even now, when we coming back, people wasn't expecting me to come back and come out like that from what you've seen up close and and personal that night. But again, they just go to show you my determination. Like up to that point, I fought three undefeated fighters, back to back. Shakur, Jermaine at the time was undefeated. Then Nick Molina was undefeated. So that just goes to show you just the type of fight, the person I am. I'm not saying Nick Molina was like the best of the best or a world beater, but at the same time, he was a kid who didn't know how to lose. And for the most part, you see guys all the time when they return after long layoffs. What do? They fight guys with losing records. You know what I mean? Some records, and it's like this guy's been knocked out every time he stepped in the ring type thing. And I was like, I couldn't do that. Because nobody would believe that I was serious if I came back and fought an opponent like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely that makes sense. And even I think it was coming off your second loss. Like I believe that's when you
Right.
signed top rank, and I don't know if everyone believed what you believed too. And you like even you were a huge underdog in the world title fight.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
And
I'm
then
also an
and then you
underdog.
kept on even Lamont Roach. I don't know if you were an underdog, but I believe a lot of people were saying Lamont was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, because he was 10 years younger and everything like that, and I mean undefeated, number one contender. So I can understand that in terms of those who bet, but at the same time didn't play it that way either.
And then
I was supposed to lose
even
to
Carl
Carl
Frampton, I don't know
Yeah, I
betting
was supposed to lose
wise.
to Carl Frampton. I was gonna get
I
knocked
believe
out.
you
I was
were.
gonna get
I
knocked
think you
out.
were underdog on the betting.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, of course, yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, I think that gives me motivation. Like, I don't get upset about it. I look at it and I'm like, man, I just laugh because I always go back and laugh at like the statements and the stories and the comments when they was like, oh, when they make their predictions. I was supposed to beat Frampton. Maybe the best I got was maybe by a split decision. Maybe that was the best I got, but it wasn't nobody. Everything else I was supposed to get lose by unanimous decision, mid, mid, whatever, or I was supposed to get knocked out, and none of that happened.
Yeah, that one was crazy. I like that fight. That was a good fight. What was that like to just be in Dubai too?
I was kind of upset. I mean, the bar is great. Don't get me wrong. The country is great. Country is beautiful. When you go out to do some sightseeing, I ain't do much because I was so focused on the fight. But I did do a little sightseeing, and the country's actually fun. People are really nice there and everything. But I was more upset in terms of I was supposed to fight Frampton in Belfast in a football arena. So you can understand why, you know what I mean? I wanted to have that big spectacle moment. But of course COVID hit. So everything was getting shut, shut down. Then we supposed to fight also then to London, but then the UK had shut down things. So we had to go do that. We had to go, handle business in Dubai. But again, for the most part, the event wasn't what I wanted, but the victory was more important.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that going back to the influencer stuff, and that's why that's working because of the UK fan base. Because in the US, that shit doesn't work.
No,
It doesn't work.
no.
They had events here,
I
and
mean,
they like got,
I love my fans out here in the U.S., but it's a different animal, especially like when we as Americans we have so many other high level sports over boxing. I get it, just like in the UK, boxing is big. Boxing and football, soccer, or whatever, is big over there. But you know what I mean. But again, like those, it, boxing isn't on the top five of the list in the U.S. When you got the NFL, NBA, baseball season, and so on. So again, I don't knock it. I'm saying I appreciate the Americans that do follow the sport, but it's not as big over here as it is over there.
yeah, for sure. Now going back to business, Jamel. You're a
Yeah.
manager as well. You're the manager as well. So tell me how you got into that.
Me and my partner Jerry Casares, who you seen was at the fights as well. Everybody calls him JC at Wildcard King on Twitter and Instagram when y'all follow him around. But we just wanted to do something different in terms of helping the fighters, and because we it's there's I get it. Boxing is a business first, professional boxing, but I see a lot of fighters over time. That they've been taking advantage of, and they putting in the wrong deals and the wrong fights. So when I got involved in it, I just wanted to just basically be more of a guidance for fighters to get their foot through the door, and then they go from there. I'm saying, in terms of their own pathway, without so much of heavy influence from the guys in the back. For most part, we like to listen to our fighters. Well, we like to hear what they want to do, what their goals are, what direction do they want to go, and we try to, everyone stays on the same page. Now I mean, again, we'll put our 2 cents in if it doesn't look like it's not the best move, but again, we try to put them in a better position to where they have they do find more success. I mean, again, I put Micaiah Krebs on my last card. That benefited out just from me returning, with her. And I wanted to get more media attention on Micaiah. Because I believe Micaiah should be fighting for world title soon. Michael Gamble, we just got him signed with ProBox, doing business with them. Michel Lopez, we did business with Top Rank in terms of putting him on a Top Rank card, and he beat a Top Rank fighter. And we were trying to now we want to work with fighters in Canada, overseas, and so on. Because again, I don't want to be that guy, because you see it, bro. Like a lot of managers, they just stay with that one banner. Like you had that one manager that's over here with just PBC, or the one guy that just stayed to do business with Golden Boy or Top Rank, and so on and so on. No, I want to be where I want to help fighters as much as possible. So if I feel like it's a better fit elsewhere, over here or there, I'm just gonna just go do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, all that makes sense. I think that's what's going to change too, even in terms of just seeing, like, because I work with other athletes not in boxing and
Right.
MMA. It's just like fun. Like it's not even real life compared to that. It's just like
Yeah, I mean, because look at it, bro. It's like what you said earlier with the streaming. Like it's so much streaming going on. Like now it's not where like you had to try to get your fighter over here on, because they on this promoter only have the eyes and the cameras and and the platform. Like again, Pro Box is a great platform, and it's on. You can watch the fights for free on YouTube. But you can still see good competitive fights, because they make fights where the fights are pretty much evenly matched up. So it's good. Like I like what they're doing over there. And again, even with the zones is now open. They're trying to get more content for boxing. Like you said again, we may not always like it, but again, we see like the misfits but it's drawing in attention. I know OTX was doing a little thing, saying, to see how that goes with them, and it drew in some good fights over there as well. So now we live in a world where like basically every platform is showcasing boxing to a certain degree. So you can't, there's no more of the days of everyone's over here at HBO, or this side's over here at Showtime, and that's really it. No, now like again, it's in the palm of your hand in terms of media attention. That why not get my fighters on as much eyes as I possibly can, and then to build them up, and we'll see what we go from there in terms of the bigger fights, whatever. But again, boxing is changing, so it's like you got to change with the times. You can't be that old school mentality thinking, oh, we're gonna just do it this. No, things are changing.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny too because like how like Amazon Prime did the deal with the NFL like 2 years ago, and everyone was like, "Oh, I'm not watching Amazon Prime." Blah blah blah. And now everyone's like, "Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime," and now it's like boxing might go there, so it's lit. And then if
Yeah,
Netflix goes to boxing, that'll be crazy.
think about it. Think about it, man. People was complaining about the zone for a while. But people forget though, like ESPN is big over here, of course. Yes, it is. It's very big over here. It's probably our number one go to for sports, period, in the states. People forget though that the zone is a global streaming service. You know what I mean? So it's not just a thing in the U.S. It's big over in Europe as well, and other countries. So you gotta look at the you can't be closed minded anymore. You can't be looking at, because you've seen it. Oh, I'm not watching boxing on an app now. Everything's on the app. Everything's on the app. Like even Showtime and HBO have an app. Like everything's on the app. Like you can't be closed minded and thinking, oh, because it's like what difference does it make if you can still pick your phone or whatever and watch it? Like what difference does it make what's on?
It's so funny too. I was cleaning out my room yesterday, and I found like a box of old DVDs, and I was just like, "Yo, this is crazy!" Like it wasn't that long ago that people
It
used to
wasn't that
buy.
long ago. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. As I'm saying, it wasn't that
I was
long
like,
ago.
"Yo, I just want to
The,
throw all this out."
Listen, when last time you even heard anybody saying I'm gonna go buy that new movie on Blu-ray disc? And it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago either. Like but that's what I mean. Every time the times change, like technology, like today, I think they say technology is moving at a faster rate than what we expect it to at times. But it's like, what can you do? I mean, now everything is going towards AI technology and things like that. So like for me, I keep up with the times. Like I don't go do that. I don't be close minded because then you see those same individuals that sit there and said, "I'm not watching a fight on the app." And like you said, now everyone's like, "Oh, Amazon Prime, man, if PVC goes there, it's gonna do great." You just knocked ESPN Plus and the Zone for years, but now that's why I don't. I let it be, man. Like I said, if I can watch it still by just clicking the remote or picking up my phone, why would I complain about what the hell is streaming it?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's crazy, but overall, like boxing's like healthy in my opinion. Like it's crazy right now. Like I
Yeah,
think,
it's,
like all the
it's, it's a great year for
yeah,
boxing. Great
million
year.
good fights. Like I feel like every weekend there's a big fight.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, or something building towards a big matchup afterwards, whatever. But yeah, I mean, 2023 has been a great year for boxing. I mean, you got Tank and Ryan, you got Bud and Errol finally. We just like again, David Benavidez just put on a great performance. Canelo came back and put on a good. So I mean, you can't really complain about boxing this year. So like we got Loma Haney. Now we're getting Haney Regis. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad with this year how boxing look. I don't care. Like I'm not gonna argue about how certain fights turned out, whatever. But at the same time, we got the fights that we've been looking towards to.
Yeah, no, definitely. Going off of that, let's do some predictions. Who do you think's gonna win versus Regis and Devin?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Obviously you want to lean with Regis. I mean with Devin. I mean because him being the I would say the more accomplished, even though Regis has done a lot, you probably gotta say Devin is more on paper the more accomplished. And he's the more sound boxer. But again, 140 division is dangerous. Regis still considered one of the best. A lot of people don't know this about around this probably around 2010 when I first met him. I actually sparred him and Errol Spence the same day, and I would personally say that Regis punch is different, man. And him and Errol at the time they were fighting in the same weight class. They were fighting at 152 pounds as amateurs. But Errol is strong too. But don't get me wrong. But Regis has like that. It's just that hits that punch that just has that shock value to it. Like it's just hard. Like it's solid. He has a solid. But and that was when he was fighting at 152 pounds. Now he's fighting as a 140 pounder, carrying that same punch. So it was different. I mean, like I said again, he had a hard fight with Josh Taylor, but you see when he did to Josh Taylor's eye, you know what I mean, his face in that fight, and his fight was Cepeda. So like he looked like Cepeda was holding his own, but like once Regis finally gets to you and breaks you down, it's a tough fight. So that's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one though.
Have you ever sparred Devin?
I was supposed to spar Devin in my last camp, but we could never get the timing down. And plus, when I was basically about to finish up camp, he was starting up camp, meaning that he was doing all the promotion when he was arguing with the strength coach and everything. It was around that time we were supposed to start that week, but he had to go promote the fight out in California, so we never got to do it. And by the time he came back, I was literally in my last week of sparring, so I had finished that up and I went to New York afterwards.
Gotcha. And then December 23rd, there's like I don't know, like 6 or 5 or 6 heavyweight fights, but Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallen and Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. Who you got in those two matchups?
I'm going with the A side with that card, man. We know what that's building up to, but you gotta. I'm looking even want to look at the Miller fight, the Big Baby fight. You know what I mean? So that I want to see how he look. I want to see how he looks. I really haven't got to see him since he's been back off of suspensions and everything. But of course, I'm going with the A sides from terms of Wilder and Joshua, because let's be honest, we still want to see, even though they're not the world champions, though, we still will. I'm pretty. It's still we still would like to see that fight. Of course, that they're fighting in Saudi Arabia now. They're going to go right back for that fight, so that's going to be like a big a big event, just like Tyson Fury's last event, or something similar to the moment. So I'm going with those two guys on that night.
So all right, so Wilder or Joshua when they fight.
I gotta pick Wilder, and I only say this because at times you don't know where Joshua's mindset is at. If he still has that hunger or that dog, it seems like at times he just goes through the motions. You know what I mean? I mean, still a good fighter in his own right, but it's like, again, boxing is more mental than physical.
Yeah, definitely. Um, December 26th, is that the fight you're covering in a way?
Yeah, of course. The monster, the monster,
Who do you got in that fight?
the monster. I mean, it's hard to pick against him. It's hard to pick against him, man. I mean, I mean, this guy is oozing with greatness. Like he's still trying to achieve more. He's trying to be undisputed in two weight classes, just like my man Terrence Crawford. So you gotta. I mean, again, I'm gonna cover it the way I see it, but like I said, if I had to put money on it, it's definitely got to be in a way.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that's another cool place too. Just the atmosphere in Japan when they fight.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. They love their athletes. I mean, over there, boxers at that level considered rock stars.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, well, I got a few fun questions. And I'll let you go. After becoming world champion, like, what was like a big purchase you made?
A big purchase that I made for me was my 2019 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red
There you
Eye.
go. You bought your house
That was
before that, right?
no. Jen is very particular with her housing, and I get it. Whatever we pick, whatever she knows at the time, it's something that we want to stay in for years to come. So we were still like house searching, but that actually came around the pandemic, and that's probably
Right before it.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
right,
good,
yeah.
good.
That's my greatest purchase. That's my
You
greatest
would have
purchase.
been tight if you did it after.
Yeah, 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 definitely. I mean, the market right now is shot up. Like the houses where I'm at now is worth like like 7 figures now where I'm at. It's crazy. Like, and I got mine for like 6, but again, like now, like the prices right now are ridiculous in the market that we're housing.
Yeah, a bunch of the New Yorkers moved to Connecticut where I'm at, and then just
I
everything
don't
got
blame them.
yeah.
I mean, it's not the same anymore. Even I mean, the pandemic alone showcased that. It was crazy. People couldn't work, so who was keeping up with the rent out there in New York and so on.
Sure. What's your first memory of me like reaching out to you or interacting? Because I don't remember, but I want to know what.
I used to always see a logo. I used to always see a logo around. I'm like, yo, who is like? I watch everything. But I'm like, if I see something a lot and from like different, like from like different fighters or athletes, I'm like, okay, this PG Sports is definitely picking up track. It's picking up, but like I remember we clicked though. We like quickly, like like even now, like when you hit me up, like, hey, bro, what's up? Like, let's do it. Like, so like it's always been good. Even now, you see, even I'm in camp. I still wear the gear, you know what I mean? I'll be like, oh, and I just give my proper, my appreciation, and I tag you in the brand. So, yeah, I love seeing it. I actually love still seeing it on other athletes because you and I both know we do things with Rakanti boxing and her saying uniform attire, and I love seeing. Okay, and I look at his ideas. I'm like, okay, I see. Okay, Paul, he's over here because he got the PG. You see the logo on this guy's trunk. So yeah, I mean that's always my thing. Like, and again, and when people ask me about you, I'll be like, yeah, hit him up. He's a good dude. He looks out for the fighters. You know what I mean? So that's just me. You know what I mean? I've never been a guy that I forgot who was down with me or around my on my journey or who's still with me on my journey. So yeah, that's my first memories of it. Like I just remember seeing it everywhere. Like
No, that's dope. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it was cool to actually like meet you in person for the first time and your family.
that's crazy. It's like we've been on each other for years, and it was like that's the crazy part about it. I'm like, man, it's the first time. If it don't, but it didn't seem like it. everything it was natural. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like it. I'm like, yeah, that was like, yeah, that was crazy though. People
Yeah.
who y'all watching
And
you,
it's like that happens to me all the time too. Like, but yours was kind of different. No, actually, because we were at the Shakur fight, you were working though. I was trying to link up with you, but you were working. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we've been in the same place at the same time, but not.
Not in the same room.
But yeah,
you know what I mean?
I met all your family too. I ran into your mom too. I don't know if she told you. That was cool.
Yeah.
So that was cool to just meet your whole family and super
That's
welcoming. Cool. And like it felt like I met you guys a million times. So
oh yeah, like honestly, like the last fight really felt like a homecoming because, like I said, I had like friends I grew up with that I haven't seen in years. I mean, you was there, then it seemed like more that was more like a real true homecoming. So that's what made the event special for me.
For sure. All right, Jamel, where I appreciate it again, and could you let the listeners know where to follow you at?
The same at Jamel Herring on Instagram, Twitter. As you know, bro, I click with everybody. You know what I mean? I see all the craziness and I chime in on Twitter as well. But yeah, man, just anybody wants to reach out to me at Jamel Herring, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the same.